All right, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to my Hearthstone budget decks. Today we're looking at a budget Imp Zoo Warlock. As you can see, we got 10 1 drops, 10 3 drops, and then 2, 4, and 5 are kind of mixed in there. But basically, that gives you an idea of kind of what to expect with this deck. It's a lot of cheap creatures like Dredger Staff, Flustered Librarian, Flame Imp, Voidwalker, those kind of things where either they're imps or they take advantage of being imps. We also have Crooked Cook to help us draw cards. Vile Library, of course, is going to be a massive buff depending on how many imps we have. Fiendish Circle just gives us a ton of imps, of course. Imp Gang Boss, Piggyback Imp. Traveling Merchant, I'm hoping is just going to be a massive creature for 3 mana. Because it's going to get bigger for each creature we have. It doesn't even matter if it's an imp or not. Mischievous Imp, we're going to hope we can infuse this sometimes to summon 2 copies of it instead of 1. Giving us 9/9 worth of stats for 4 mana. And then we got Shady Bartender. This is going to give all my demons +2/+2. So that includes the imps, the Voidwalkers, that kind of thing. And it's going to buff all of them by +2/+2. But yeah, so the main game plan of this deck is going to be to just play out whatever you can. So like a Flustered Librarian or a Flame Imp or a Dredger Staff on turn 1, and just literally don't let go of the board for any reason. You utilize your synergies, between the imps, certain buffs like Cabal Outfitter, and the Vile Library, things like that to take down bigger creatures if you need to, or just apply pressure to your opponent. Traveling Merchant is there just to be a big nuisance for your opponent. Hopefully, as early as turn 3, we just drop it and we have a decent sized creature. So yeah, I really like how this deck is looking. As for particular card choices, I think most of them were self explanatory. Being an imp deck, you want as many imps and imp synergy cards as you can get. The Dredger Staff was like a pretty important one for me because I want to see how this card performs. You play it and then it buffs your entire hand. So like if you're playing a mostly minion deck like Imp Warlock, I'm hoping those hand buffs will come in handy. Get it handy. But yeah, Crooked Cook, we probably don't need the draw, considering we do have numerous 3 mana cards and such. But it's rewarding us for going face, which we're going to at some point anyway. So at this point, it's just going to be like a 2 mana draw a card, and then if it happens to survive another turn, then we can draw another card that turn hopefully, and it just kind of snowballs from there. So it's something that they like have to kill, but they also have to deal with the actual threat of us just taking them down with all these imps. So yeah, it's just kind of nice to give my opponent something else to worry about, as well as fueling our army of imps, kind of keeping things flowing. Fiendish Circle is not something you would think, but it is a very efficient rate. You pay 3 mana and you summon 4 imps. There we go. I saw it to Hearthstone. I'm trying to keep the music going, just for background, to make sure it sounds like I'm playing Hearthstone, because otherwise you would just hear this like really like bland, just just nothing going on in the background. In fact, I should probably turn it up a little bit, not too much, but a little bit. There we go. But yeah, with that being said, we do have some fantastic choices when it comes to demons. We just have all the efficient demons. Fiendish Circle, summon 4/1/1s. It doesn't seem like it'd be impactful, but between the Infuse Imp down here, the Mischievous Imp, and Shady Bartender can make all those little 1/1 imps into massive, 3 attack, 3 health imps. Or Cabal Outfitter can go ahead and give us some plus attack, plus health. So yeah, just overall a really solid deck, I think. Really, really tuned for the limitations of a budget deck. As for potential upgrades, let's take a look. Gotta get rid of the search term. Okay. But yeah, I would say like Impending Catastrophe, if you happen to have the epic sitting in your inventory, is a good add for this deck. Drawing just a bunch of cards. You probably swap out the Crooked Cook for that. Um, let's see. Any other, crazy cards? Suffocating Shadows is something I considered putting in the deck, but I think I'd rather just focus on me having a consistent game plan when it comes to aggressive decks, rather than like, hey, my opponent might have a big creature that I might have to worry about, so let me add this in my deck. I feel like that will, uh, accidentally slow down your game plan just because you're trying to slow down your opponent and not really worried about your own game plan. But that was a consideration. Um, just taking a look here. Shadowborn would be a consideration if we added this. I was also going to add the Shadow Waltz here. I don't have it in my deck currently, but it's acting like I do because I did click on it. Same with Murlocula. So I feel like Murlocula will pretty much always be playing that for free. But how valuable is a free life stealing 3/4? Is that powerful enough? I would definitely suggest we add that if aggro becomes prevalent, because we don't want to be racing as Warlock. Our hero power kills us faster, and the Flame Imps are dealing 3 damage to our own face. Like, it's just not a class you really want to race with very often. But if we added Murlocula, maybe that would change. So, I don't know. It was something I was considering adding, especially since we can infuse it pretty easily, fairly easily with the Wicked Shipment and the Fiendish Circle, among other cards. I was also considering adding Shadow Waltz. Summon a 3/5 Shadow with Taunt. If a minion died this turn, summon another. So I figure I was going to consider that for like a nice top end, but I opted for the Shady Bartender instead. Again, I'm kind of trying to, that does buff our game plan of just kind of like, we're trying to trade into the enemy creatures when we can, but I figure we can be much more aggressive and even get better trades by playing Shady Bartender and buffing up our demons. So that was my plan with Shadow Waltz. I was going to, hey, we're going to get a payoff for our guys getting taken out. But yeah. I'm trying to think. I don't think there's anything else in particular. Any other like synergies? Let's see. And anything I was even considering past that. If you wanted to go a late game imp build instead, you could opt for Dark Alley Pact, because the Fiend is actually an imp that you summon, and it's pretty strong. Especially if you're going to use Lady Darkvein with Dark Alley Pact, and then and then you can just have a lot of these massive imps, and then you just have Imp King Rafam to bring all the massive imps back. That would be pretty cool. But that's something you would do if you had much bigger of a budget to work with, because obviously, Rafam is a legendary, the other card was a legendary, and then of course, then you have to, completely change the playstyle of the deck to get that kind of programming going. But yeah, so that's what I would probably do if I wanted to upgrade it. I would just go full imp and just just try to go nuts with Imp King Rafam. But sincerely, I think this is a good deck, for real. It's a bit basic, but at the same time, it's very efficient, very effective, and that's what you want out of a aggro deck. So, yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you really like this type of aggro deck. There's certainly a lot that we can do with it, I think. So let me know what you think. Is this a good deck? Is this a bad deck? And definitely stick around for more budget decks. And I also have a free-to-play going on tomorrow with the launch of Castle Nathria. So thank you very much, and I will see you there, hopefully. All right, thank you.